ripped. They were the two men he trusted most, and they were slowly killing everything he'd spent his life building. Jackson sat alone across the street from the bakery that still carried his grandmother's name. 52 years old. Dressed like any tired man passing through, but carrying a weight that bent his spine more than age ever could. Sweet Haven was fading. The door barely chimed anymore. Prices climbed, but the flavor vanished. Regulars left with quiet frowns like visitors mourning something already gone. He watched a woman count coins in her shaking hands only to walk away empty. No one held the door. No one smiled. That bakery wasn't just a business. It was memory. It was legacy. And now it was a target. He had 30 days. 30 days to uncover the betrayal, gather proof, and take back what was his, or lose it all to the two smiles he once mistook for loyalty. His grandmother's hands had flour in every crease. That's how he remembered her. Best. Elbows deep in dough, humming a melody no one else ever quite learned. On the wall behind the counter, her faded photograph still hung. Crooked dust settling into its corners. Jackson stared at it, silent. Fritters of losses, shrinking foot traffic, numbers no longer made sense. But this wasn't just about spreadsheets. It was about a promise. He'd made it over a hospital bed, holding her frail hand that once rolled every cinnamon twist by touch. Alone. A promise to protect what she built, to never sell out, to never forget what homemade meant. Now he felt like a stranger in the place she'd raised from nothing. His voice barely rose above a whisper. I didn't keep my word, did I? But the photograph didn't answer, just hung there, still watching as the silence deepened. Before the bakery, Jackson lived in conference rooms and courtrooms, defending corporations in suits that cost more than some people's rent. He was sharp, composed, persuasive, but none of that taught him how to knead dough or read the silence of a disappointed customer. He gave it all up the year his grandmother's hands finally went still. That winter he moved back home, packed away his legal career, and opened her recipes like sacred texts. Now sitting at his desk, he pulled out a sheet of paper. The handwriting came slow, stiff at first. You were right, he wrote. Business isn't just numbers, it's heart, and I let people into ours who don't have one. The pen paused, his fingers curled tighter. I'm going back into the kitchen, but not just to bake. This time, I'm going in to fight. The page stayed on the desk, unsigned. But the decision was made. The old coat smelled like flour in storage. He hadn't worn it in years. A pair of worn jeans, an oversized hoodie, and a baseball cap pulled low finished the look. The mirror didn't show a former attorney or a bakery owner, just a man no one would notice. Jackson adjusted the thick rimmed glasses on his nose and took a long look. Plain, tired, forgettable. That was the point. Later that day, he met his oldest friend for coffee. The man walked right past him at first. Jackson chuckled. You didn't recognize me, did you? The friend narrowed his eyes. No. And that's terrifyingly effective. Jackson nodded once slowly. Good. Then they won't either. He didn't need a courtroom anymore. He needed silence, anonymity, eyes and ears wide open. The disguise wasn't about hiding who he was. It was about seeing who they had become when they thought he wasn't watching. The moment he stepped inside, the scent hit him. Sugar, cinnamon, and something that tried to mimic vanilla. But fell just short. It was almost right. Almost. His eyes found the back Wall. The photograph still hung there. His grandmother, mid-laugh, hands dusted with flour, but the frame was tilted, the glass smudged. Dust clung to the corners like it belonged. He moved slowly to the counter, keeping his voice low. Just chocolate glazed and black. Coffee. The young cashier tapped a screen. That'll be $475. Jackson blinked. One donut, one coffee, $475. He didn't argue. He just handed over the cash. Took the receipt, and sat down in the far corner where the light didn't reach as easily. The donut looked familiar. Perfectly round, glossy on top. But when he picked it up, it felt wrong. Too light, too dense, like a memory. Pretending to be real. The first bite shattered the illusion. The dough was dry, dense at the core, like it had waited too long for someone who never came. The glaze clung in a way that felt synthetic. And the chocolate. He knew. That taste. Cheap, processed. It wasn't Belgian. It wasn't hers. He stared at